Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for spending your valuable time with the Adapt 2030 channel. Polar stratospheric clouds? I don't think so. Polar mesospheric clouds. I covered this in the opportunity cycle just this month. More ozone destruction because more ice vapor clouds from the Tonga eruption in the atmosphere. Comet report inbound. Venus, the mystical wonder. Used car prices crashing. At the same time, $9 now for a dozen eggs. Minerals and solar panels. And here I am wondering if a pigeon's got secret messages on the wings. And I'm going to start you off here. Bizarre North Pole. Polar stratospheric clouds. Apparently it's this cold with this much ice crystal reflectivity that we're seeing this aberration of a unicorn in the skies staying for days. Incredible beauty here. Something so far of orders of magnitude outside what you would normally expect. It is worth a glimpse. And also looking at the southern hemisphere, all these volcanic afterglow sunsets. This was taken last year to show you the intensity of what they're experiencing in the southern hemisphere. That has now crossed over the equator, and we're starting to see it all the way up at the poles now. It means the water vapor from the Tonga eruption has moved all the way around the planet. Year without a summer inbound. I did talk about this in the opportunity cycle January report about how these polar mesospheric clouds, these PMCs, are inundated with an enormous amount of water vapor crystal in there, ice crystal clouds from that Tonga eruption pushing vapor up 52 plus miles. Now these ice crystals have more of a surface for ozone breakdown to occur, and that's why I was saying focus on Australia and Argentina for barley losses in the opportunity cycle report. Free for now, but it's going to be a subscription news service based on pulling out nuggets for traders and those that hedge. If you can see the opportunity, obviously you have a better chance of moving through the changes here. What crops will be lost, which specific areas, what are the drivers for these changes, and what we can see across the planet is it's all going to be affected. So long story short, year without a summer inbound here, northern hemisphere, as we're going into our planting season, as there's going to be astounding, stunning reductions in yield in the southern hemisphere. By the time they try to make heads or tails of this, food prices are going to go, into the stratosphere, no pun intended. But if you look at the egg price and the way it's, scurried up from a couple bucks a dozen to $9 a dozen, you're going to see a lot of other basic foodstuffs in turn step up just like that. And at some point we're going to hit this rollover where the amount to continue to have a house or a roof over your head or rent or whatever that takes, whatever shape or form, and your food bill and your electric and these other things, there's really not going to be much out on the side for the general economy. That's why I say it is an opportunity. It's the biggest opportunity in human history, but it's disguised in the dangers. So how do you move from there into, building a new life and a new society and a new civilization after we transit through this? And Comet report, Comet ZTF. Approaching Earth here, closest will be February 1st. Behaving a little strangely right now, has an anti-tail and a tail. Those of you who understand electric mechanics across our universe, this could have some very strange activity associated with it as it passes closest to Earth. So all eyes are now looking to see, is it going to expand in size? BlackRock warns, prepare for a recession unlike any other. History has proven the only way the Fed can fight inflation is with a recession. Big banks and billionaires agree on two things right now. We're heading toward a recession, and investors need to buy gold. Patriot Gold Group is introducing the 2023 Recession Protection No Fee for Life IRA. Call the Patriot Gold Group today before it's too late. Mention Adapt 2030 and you're going to get the best in-class service. Patriot Gold Group has an OP for Life IRA where your 401k or IRA can be in physical gold or silver on qualifying rollovers. 888-546-7020 to get your free investor guide today. And now on with the video. You know, this change of age of tales of dragons in the heavens. Well, the Beidou Qixing, that is the cult of the Big Dipper, and this is from China, and the origination point of the Birkeland current powering our star and our solar system originates from the Big Dipper, according to the Beidou Qixing in the ancient Chinese texts. Now, if you go further back right along with that, the cult of the fox, which would be the Japanese equivalent, and then you can roll through how many mystic accounts of Draco, dragon, serpents. And then we have this, which could electrically change to a different color depending, and also the luminosity and the size of it. And then we have the Hopi blue star Kachina. So there's a lot of overlap in ancient history and returning signs and those that were prophesying of different signs in the heavens. Now, if this thing were to enlarge itself and do something far out of the normal, it's going to freak people out. The news will cover it, and it'll be a global story, and suddenly there'll be a fear factor on top of already what you see with the war footing across the planet, the economy, and then you have this massive comet that will do something unusual in the skies. And I'm saying could. But it's just really interesting how it's lined up where it is between the most ancient historical references of everything on our planet all in the same quadrant of the sky, which is, well, again, if you're looking at end time signs, that's one of them, a specific placing of this comet transiting through those houses in the sky. And speaking of skies, you know, I couldn't go without throwing the new image of Venus, highest resolution. Now I'm wondering how many SUVs are down there driving around to heat that atmosphere like it's supposed to do to our planet. Just saying. And speaking of automobiles, this is the way they're going to pack you into the cities here. You won't actually drive into the parking garage. You'll drive down to the bottom level, and this machine, greatly sped up, will then come and deliver it to you. Oh wait, that's in Japan and parts Asia as we speak. And if you would like to purchase said used car, the largest annual decline in sales history ever, but I have to AH behind that, ever. Could I say it again for emphasis? I think I should. The Cox Automotive report and the Mannheim Used Vehicle Value Index, some refer to that as Blue Book back in the day, largest decline in sales history. So it dropped about 15% from a year ago. It's below that at the 2020 levels, so might have got that dead cat bounce off of that, but I think we're going to continue lower as the economy contracts. But I just saved $25,000 a year on a new car battery because my car runs on gas. You electric vehicle owners, let's switch over to solar panels for a moment, shall we? We're moving into a low carbon era moving forward. So let's look at what's used in solar panels. The bauxite, the boron minerals, obviously we need semiconductors in there. Got the copper, the gallium, the indium, molybdenum, my favorite, selenium, tellurium, and titanium oxide. Okay, that's quite the list there to procure. And then I look and say, you know, you have everybody out there saying we can't mine for coal, but at the same time, it's a double thumbs up for lithium and manganese and graphite and molybdenum and unobtainium and terbium. But don't look at the coal. That's a bad thing. That bad. And this is all brought to you by people that live here that lecture you about the environment. Oh yeah. You see what I see now? I see those prices at $9 per dozen of eggs in New York City. What? Limit 2 per customer. Imagine going in there plus sales tax at 10%. That's $20 for 2 dozen you're walking out of there with. Now, I don't know where that sits on your scale of, uh-oh. That could be a problem. Because nearly every single item that's in a supermarket that's in a box uses eggs. Anything. Look at the uses of eggs in industry or the food industry itself across the board. Almost everything uses eggs in some way, shape, or form. Now the way, that would be more from milk, again, no pun intended there. But when you start to think about the basics that are rising in price, you know, the proteins that are coming out of milk. Baby formula, that hasn't been around for quite some time. You got formula shortages, the protein powders that are also extracted out of milk in the dairy industry. Those are the higher products that they get out. Raw milk is kind of at the bottom there of the sell point. There's much higher value in there in extracting certain constituents out of the milk. But then you start to look at the eggs, and that's really the kicker right here, the eggs, because it is in everything. Low-cost protein source. If we have to go to higher value protein sources up the value chain, $8 or $9 will be a bargain. If you're going to start to have to move to protein powders, go take a look in some supplement stores where they sell bodybuilding protein powders. You got to think about what your substitute is going to be for eggs or meat. I mean, it could move over to some veggies, pea, broccoli, that sort of thing. But really, in the whole world, when you look at it, what is your substitute going to be? And then if that disappears, what's your tertiary backup to that going to be? And this is the way you're going to need to start thinking now, because you could produce it yourself, or you could start to find somebody who does the production of that and start to seek them out the next weeks or months on making sure you have a steady supply. But at these types of prices, it just can't continue. It's either going to go to backyard farming, or that's going to disappear off the shelves. Or it's going to be very limited supply and it's going to continue to creep up in price. I know they can bring the flocks back, but it's going to take a fair minute to do so. And if there's any contamination left at all, it's just going to reverse and just going to start the next cycle of it, destroying the chickens, the eggs and you can see where it goes from here. So get ready and buckle up. You're going to have to find your own sources outside supermarkets and traditional supply chains. Because as we look at the dollar's worth, Visual Capital is putting this one together for us here. And you really do have to look at the prices on the left at 1913 when the Federal Reserve was formed, creature from Jekyll Island. That is a must read if you never read it. And it just shows how the dollar is being destroyed. And it was set up as the world reserve currency. So the Bretton Woods Agreement, the summit, and also I would include the creature from Jekyll Island in this reading list if you so choose to go down that sea of information. Then you put this together and then you go, oh wait, what's up with these pigeon wings here? What kind of pigeon is this? Are they putting messages on the wings? So I slowed it down and somebody had something in this video and said, look at this, they're putting Chinese writing on the wings. Is this a Chinese carrier pigeon with a message on it? And I said, I don't know. Do you see any writing on the wings? And then how do they train that to move to the next thing? There's not even a little tag on the leg that you could stuff a note into. They laser printed the wings. So the story goes, what's real and what isn't in 2023? Join us tonight, Thursday. Ransom Godwin and myself will be up on the Many Guys Age Conversations podcast and the Adapt 2030 bevy of channels out there, Rumble, Dollar Vigilante, streaming live, as well as Mountain High Time. Join us there and join the conversation with those in the chat boxes discussing the same issues. That link's in the description box below, along with tonight's video, images, and stories, so you can do your own research. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.